Hello, everybody. We're back again. We were talking about energies. Hi, Chris. Yeah, say hi to
Hi.
everybody.
Nice to be noticed. Thank
Yes,
you.
sorry. I just said to Chris, I have no clue what we're going to talk about. But before we started this show, Chris and I were talking about the energies that are going on right now. And they can be very dense and heavy and what we are doing to get rid of them, because a lot of the energies are that we experience are picked up from other people around us mostly. But you have to figure that out first, and then you can let it go. Like, oh wait, this is not mine. So that was what we were talking about. We can continue about that a little bit further if you
Yeah,
want to, Chris.
yeah,
Yeah.
you not, yeah. Except the one exception was the one you were the energy you were bothering is it was not yours, but this one I was talking about it was mine mostly.
But yeah, then you have to explain to the people what you were talking about because they
Yeah,
don't know.
because yeah.
Please share.
Of course. Yeah, we were talking about purifying ourselves because I was really feeling dense and some kind of low in energy, lower than normal. Yesterday I went to a concert of in Holland. It's a famous. Actually, he's a singer songwriter, but I think he makes beautiful poetry and he's singing very well on on his poets. And normally his music is like when I listen to his music, I'm like, oh wow, and I really feel very elevated and I'm getting some kind of high, like wow, yeah. But yesterday I found myself almost asleep during the whole time. And this is not normal for me. So and I was listening with closed eyes almost all the time and very pretty doing my thing to stay awake. And but when I went out, I was thinking about it and I was thinking like this is not normal for me. Normally it will go through me, and I had the idea that there was some kind of yeah um, how do you say that, a cover around me. I was covered in something and it couldn't really reach my heart, and normally it should. And I was thinking, I said, I think I'm not my whole self. Maybe some low energy is sticking on me or whatever. So, and then this morning, I woke up from nasty dreams about criminals, about all kind of negative things, mostly negative. And and then I was thinking, yeah, oh, definitely, Chris, you are going to purify yourself because I don't, I don't want this anymore. So I went to the shower. I cleaned myself, especially my hair, my head, and my hair, and everything. And yeah, in Dutch we say smoocher, but I don't know. We with white sage. Yeah, I cannot hear you anymore. Did you mute yourself or not? Anyway,
Yeah, I muted myself. Smudging.
smudging. Okay,
Yeah,
very good.
I muted myself because I don't know. Can you hear my laundry is going?
No,
Oh, you
I
can
cannot
hear it. Oh,
hear. No.
I can leave it alone. Yeah.
Anyway, it was very funny. You were talking and it was mute. Yeah. Whoa. All right. Woo. Yeah. Anyway, smudging. And so I was smudged myself and the house, the complete house. And with Celtic sea salt with water in my feet, and I'm okay now. And the music can go through me, and it reaches my heart again. So I was like, oh, I'm happy. But then I start to tell this to Mariska, and she told her story. Maybe you want to share your story. I think it's almost similar. So
Yeah.
I was quite amazed anyway.
Yeah, well, the thing with energy, because, the research is about energy. And the interesting part is, since I'm looking at things from energy perspective, I also am more interested in what kind of planets are standing where. And especially now, there's an eclipse, or a partly eclipse. So it's a part of the sun will be eclipsed, not the whole sun. And I was reading up on it because I experienced this weekend that there was a lot of dense energies going through me too, and I was trying to figure it out. What is up with me? What do I need to learn? What's happening? And I couldn't figure it out. And so I was like, wow, that's strange. So I then start looking on internet, like, okay, what's going on? Maybe something in the energy, like from the planets, the neutrons, maybe something is happening there. And then I found out that the eclipse is this eclipse is all about purging a lot of heavy karmic stuff in the world. So there's a lot of things going on in the realms. I don't know another word for it. That people are letting go, but also are confronted with, like karmic stuff, are really confronted, like very 3D heavy shit. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, I'm picking up on that. And since I have an upper solar plexus, I'm also, how do you call that in English? Make it bigger. Like I don't know the word.
Exaggerate.
Frida, help me, because Frida is looking at us, Chris. So
Ah,
hi,
hi, Frida. Exaggerating. Exaggerating, or it's
Yeah, it's that's not the word that I'm looking for, but
no,
it's another
no.
word that I had. Yeah. So it's like two times in twofold. I will send it back to other people. Amplify. Thank you, Frida. That was the word that we were looking
Ah,
for. Amplify. Yeah.
I'm flying. Yeah.
So I will amplify it by two. So you can imagine that you're like, okay, something is happening, and then you amplify it and you get overwhelmed by it. And you're like, whoa, what do I need to do? And sometimes it feels for me like I can't move anymore. I get this really heavy feeling on my heart space. In this occasion, I got a really heavy feeling on my heart space. And I was like, it's not my heart, that the normal symptoms I can get with my heart if I am low on magnesium, for example. That's a different kind of feeling. So I was like, what is this? And so looking it up and finding out about the eclipse and all the energy going along with that, they told me, like, okay, go shower, go wash yourself with Celtic Soul,
Oh,
clean your house, get grounded, go walk outside, get that energy only through you and not absorb it, because it's not yours, let it go. So, and what for me is very interesting too, because let me get my train of thoughts, because I was telling you about what did I tell you? I started with something else when we talked in Dutch before this. What was it?
um. Oh, let me think.
What was it?
Yeah,
Let
yeah. About the weather, about the
Oh yeah,
tornado.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what also happened, so it was a combination of things, because another thing that happened was that we had a hurricane warning here in Puerto Vallarta the Saturday, from Friday to Saturday late, actually Sunday morning early. And so I instinctively felt in the minute that I heard about this warning, like, okay, it's gonna be fine. Nothing's gonna happen. I'm gonna be fine. I don't need to do anything. I just be like normal. And then I also researched it because I like to. I like to see how things evolve. And then I got confirmation through research that my instinct was, pointing me in the right direction. And that being said, all of a sudden, like it was Saturday afternoon, and all of a sudden I get this overwhelm of fear. And I was like, what am I afraid of? And I have this WhatsApp group. And one of the ladies in the group, she posted that the hurricane level went from 2 to 3 and then to 4. So it increased exponentially. And so I was like feeling all the fear that people felt, like, oh, now it's a 4, and now Puerto Vallarta won't cease to exist. All those kinds of energies that are waving through me. And I was like, wait a minute. I felt really, instinctively that it's gonna be fine. There's nothing really major going on. And so why am I feeling this intense fear all of a sudden? So it clicked that it was the fear of the collective around me. So the people here in town and around me in the building, they all see the same information, oh, it's getting worse. And oh, yeah, it may hit Puerto Vallarta and blah, 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 blah. So I really had to get back to myself, get back to into my own energy and in my own energy field. And I started to ground. And then I was asking, okay, is this mine or is it the collective that I'm feeling and picking up on? If it is the collective, please, let me know, but by calming me down and just, for me to feel peace again and ease. So within like two minutes or something, I felt everything like going away, and I felt the peace, and I felt, my inner security, like, yeah, I'm right. It's nothing really bad is going to happen here where I am. So that being said, I was actually right. Again, in last hurricane, I was right too. Nothing happened. There was, even at my home, there was no wind, no rain, nothing. So, but a little, like 15 kilometers away, it was bad. It was really bad. So they were more in the path of the hurricane than I was. And I'm protected by a mountain in my back because my home is built against the mountain. So that was my protection this time. But it was a very, I'm very grateful that I got the confirmation. I am I'm someone that is very logical. I approach things very logical. So when my instincts come up, and especially with weather related stuff and things that you actually don't know anything about, then my logic mind takes over and it wants answers. Is it really true what you're feeling, and what is it based on? So that's why I also research, because I will look for confirmation. So after everything happened, there was a big confirmation for me that what I felt in that moment was true. So, and I actually, that's something that I'm experimenting with right now, also being instinctive, because I read a lot of posts last week you have all those Facebook groups about human design and stuff like that, and especially the Splenic ones, like me, they struggle with it because it's this little voice and you hear it like a split second and then it's gone. So your mind always takes over. It's even with me still, it takes over. I now know better, not always, but I know better that, okay, wait, this is my mind and that was my spleen. But if you're in the first stages of experimenting with that, it's so easy to get lost in the whole mind chatter because it is only just a little voice and it's gone. So what I started experimenting with is, how can I get confirmations for my instinctive voice? So for example, I started tarot. I do tarot for myself, and that way I get a lot of confirmation. So I get a feeling or I get a voice in my head, and then I'm like, okay, I will follow it. And sometimes by following it, I get the confirmation already that it is good for me. But sometimes you follow something and you don't know it, what it is leading to, you never know. And then I use the tarot cards to give me more guidance. And usually I will get like answers, or at least the thumbs up for, like, okay, you are on the right path, keep at it. Even though I don't know why yet, but I'm on the right path. So that being said, is working with the energy and and seeing it as energy, I really started to also notice that, spirits and the universe and your source and whatever you want to call it, God, angels, or whatever, it's energy. They are all energy too.
Mhm.
So what I'm now experimenting with for the last couple of 2 months already, is that I will ask them to give me guidance or give me confirmations about something. And
Yeah.
we talked about it before. So I get a lot of confirmations through my body. And that's because my design is, with the three, it is really about my body. And also my profile, the tension. I can feel with tension, am I on the right path, or am I maybe out of balance? Then I have another thing that I can keep in mind, and that's anger. And that's actually one remind me, because I have a story about my anger from this weekend. It was a very interesting one too. And then I also see mostly animals that I see that are telling me something, or they also, when I have this book, I told many times about this book, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're watching, just watch another episode to find out which one. But it's a book about what it means if you see certain animals. And so I use all those tools to get more and more in touch with my spleen, so that it becomes more clear for what are the answers and which is my mind and what is from my spleen. So for all the people, splenic people out there, if you want to experiment, I would say try something out that maybe in that way could help you a little bit further along the way. There's also all kinds of other things you can try, meditation, yoga, whatever. Everybody has different way to tune into the spleen more. But, it were just a couple of tips. So is there something that you recognize, or that you can add to this, what I told you?
Oh yes, I can relate with that, and it's I think it's not. For example, I do not have the splenic inner authority, but the emotional. So I have to feel, but I have a defined spleen. So I can relate on those things. What you are saying, even if I'm not splenic, I don't have a splenic authority. I do have all those things. I need to find out, because my spleen is working as also very fast, like what you are saying. I all the time. It's like the hunches or the small feelings, and then you have to find out, is it my head? Is it my head talking, or is it my body? Is it my heart? Is it my spleen? And yeah, I think for me, for my in my experiences, the more I have, the more self-confidence I have, the better it goes. And like you said, if you the more you go to the more you go to yourself and stay within your own energy field and within your own bubble, if you are a little bit low on self-confidence, then you can start to find out how it shows up for you. For me, it shows up with combined with the feelings. It shows up with they have a very nice combination. If my spleen is talking, and then I have to feel because of my inner truth, and then I automatically switch to the feeling, and then by feeling uh, by feeling I can find out whether it's my head or my heart or my spleen talking. This is how it works for me. It is like a combination with my solar plexus story. So it's with my feeling, and but I think I can imagine that it counts for a lot of people with with people who has their spleen defined. Because I think if you have your spleen defined, you have your own way. It has its own way to speak to you. So
Yeah.
you have a very strong intuition. Of course, if you do not have it defined, you can study from other people, and you can outcome us. Yeah, you can
Master it.
be
You can
out. Yeah,
master it.
you can master it. Yes, thank you. You master it, so you can have even more intuition than us who has their intuition defined. Anyway, so don't be afraid that if you have an open spleen, yeah, that you cannot be intuitional. No, it's not true.
Well, there's
Anyway,
actually a little distinction because it's instinctive.
yeah,
So it's
that's true.
survival mode.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
we have a gift that is intuition.
yeah,
So that's extra.
yeah,
I would
yeah,
say
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
extra.
yeah, yeah.
It's not the one or the other, it's extra.
And
And the
we have the
intuition,
well as well, eh? We have
sorry?
the well as well.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of gifts that have
Yeah,
intuitive gifts in it, and it shows up differently because you can have like intuition that's a voice in your head. You have the intuition that's more like a feeling, like if you are a sacral being, usually they have this intense feeling in their belly, for example, that they're like, whoa, no, this is not good, or oh yeah, this is good. That's intuition. And there's intuition that shows up like visuals, and then you have there's so many kinds of
yeah,
intuition. So everybody has an intuition in some way, defined or undefined, that doesn't matter. Like Chris said, it's like everything that's undefined you can learn to master. So the gift there is that you can really find out which kind and develop a sort of intuition. Because I am a strong believer that, like, for example, I hear things in my head and I hear voices. Um, but I believe everybody is able at some point to do that. But it has more to do also with awareness, with stillness,
mm,
being really still with yourself and be in the now, and quiet, and you just trying to shut out all the noise and the clutter from outside, and then everybody can develop those skills. That's really that's something that I believe. I cannot prove it, but I believe that everybody has that in itself. It's core, it's energy. And everything with energy, you are open to all energies in the world. So it isn't like that the energy would say, well, no, you're not allowed to use this energy. That would be strange. That won't be logical. At least in my perspective, that's not logical. So energy is for everybody to tap into, and it's just the awareness and the stillness. The stillness, in my point of view, is very important to listen and really feel intuitive. And that brings me to another thing, by the way, Chris. I had this conversation with a friend of mine, and she's an emotional authority. And the example that Monique always uses with emotional authority, that go to the store and they are going shopping for clothes, and then they are, for example, in their high, and they buy all those clothes because they're great and they're looking good and whatever, and then they come home, their wave is going down, and they hang it in their closet, and like 10 months later, it's still hanging there, even with the price tag still up. So that's a typical example that Monique always uses. And the funny thing is, most people with emotional authority that I speak to, they confirm this. So it's not a story. It is really actually something that happens. But I had the conversation with her. So because she was like, well, I don't do that. She is an emotional.
No,
So,
me too. I
and
don't.
I said, okay. So she said, well, I did that. There was times way before here that I did that. But she says, the more and more I become aware and my personal development has grown, um, she says, I do it less and less. And I said, but so she says, now I know in the moment that it is good for me or it's a good thing to buy or not. And I made the mistake, and it was really a mistake. I'm human. And I told her that's not possible. You always need to have you go through your wave because you need at least 24 hours to go through all the emotions about that thing. And she was like, no, she says, I contest that. She says, I really contest that. She says, I really believe that I'm at a point in my life right now that I can buy a certain thing. She says, not a house or whatever, but like clothing or another piece of furniture or whatever. And really feel in the moment if it is for me, yes or no, intuitively. So at first, I got really like, I can be really strong headed, bullheaded, and I'm like, no, that's not possible. You need to go through. Da, 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 da. So I kept repeating that, and she got agitated with me because I couldn't explain why she couldn't be intuitive in that way. And then I got quiet and I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing here? First of all, I was sort of preaching, like, no, that's not possible, blah, 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 blah. And second of all, I was like, do I really know that answer? I didn't. So then I apologized to her and I said to her, like, okay, sorry, I don't actually know. So maybe this is a good topic to talk to Monique or whatever, or maybe during a peer meeting. But I was like, hey, you are emotional. You are very intuitive too.
Yeah.
So I'm curious now how that shows up for you in your life with clothing. And I'm not talking about the big houses
No.
or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the little
It is.
smaller things. How is that showing up for you? Do you make those decisions in the now
Yeah.
sometimes?
I get. I. It's very funny because I was, yeah, maybe half a year ago or some time ago, I was asking Monique the same thing because she was telling about the highs and the lows and buying the wrong clothes and having having a part of the closet that you do not wear because you bought it in a low or you bought it in a high and then it was not, yeah, anyway. And then I said to Monique, I don't have it. I don't have anything that I don't like. And then Monique, she answered me, it's like, no, but you are very intuitively. So you use your intuition very, very highly. And then, and you are very in the now. And if you are, and then you do not do that. You don't have that anymore. So there you have your answer. And I can confirm that because I don't have it. Maybe sometimes, but it's very rare. But most of the times, and even with larger things, not only with clothes, sometimes also with larger things, larger decision. I have a very beautiful example. Um, my boyfriend, he was looking for a car, for a new car, and I happen to love cars. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not materialistic, but I love things with very high. I love things with a high energy. I love things are made by hand and they have a higher energy than mass product. Anyway, that's a different story. But to God, even so, he was talking about the car, and then he was asking me, and I intuitively know, even when it's a very very big decision because cars are very expensive, and especially this one, and for me at least. So but I saw the car and I said, this is the one, this is the one. I did not need to feel or whatever. No, I knew it. And then I can I can feel the distinction between this when the spleen is talking to me, and when I have to be in the wave. It's completely different. When I'm in the now, my spleen is talking, and then I automatically know this is the one. Even when I am even I am an emotional I have an emotional inner truth, but it overrules my inner truth. It takes over. It's larger, and I think it's because um, if you are really aware and if you are really in the oneness, then you are. And this is also part of what we were talking about. If you are, the more and more you are in the now, and the more and more you are experiencing the oneness, the the more you feel like everything. The more you feel also this you and then also from other people. It is from This is my opinion. I'm not a scientist, and I don't think that scientists already verified these topics. So it's a kind of mysterious way. Anyway, for me, it is the truth that you if that you can feel. The more you are in the oneness, you can feel everything, and then it's very hard to make the distinction of what is from you and what is from the other. But there is no other. Actually, there is no other. Everybody is you, and you are everybody. So the more you are in the now, the more you can feel about everything. So what we were talking about, when you were feeling about the whole fear of everybody, so then you are, I think you are more in the moment. And I could notice, because you could feel what, for you could feel your spleen very well. So you can also feel everything from everybody. And that is sometimes very confusing, because it can knocks you from your socks. Anyway, it can knocks you from your chair or whatever. And it but it is very natural to feel like this, because they are you and you are them. So you are part of, and once you are aware of this, then you can also be aware that you can heal things. So you can't only heal yourself, but also you can heal others. So if you put your if instead of being confused of what you are feeling, you can also decide to feel, oh, I feel fear. Oh, let's spread some and I feel confident and I feel trust. So you can send your trust to other people, and the more people do that, the more the whole energy will be will be more more with trust.
Yeah,
And
I can attest to that. Yeah.
sorry guys for the English, but my well is talking now. Anyway, I've never thought about this before. Anyway, it is talking now, and it's combining. I have some gifts who can combine things, and I make very fast. I make connections. I connect the dots very fast, and it and most of the times it goes faster than I can talk. So I sometimes, and then I have to talk also in English, but English is not very hard for me, but still I get confused with words. So, guys, I hope you still are able to understand what I say. And if not, please may please make a note in the
Comment.
comment. Yeah, make a comment. So and then I will try to explain even better. But this is what I feel right now. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, the interesting part about it is that I believe that the people who are at a point of awareness, they will get immediately what you are saying because they will feel what you are saying.
Yeah.
Because if you try to grasp it with your mind,
Yeah.
that could be challenging. That could
Yes.
be a challenging thing. So, if you don't feel this message, don't worry. Maybe later you come back and you're listening to it again, and then you're like, "Oh, wait, now I get it." Um, please don't feel dumb or stupid or whatever because you're not. Definitely not. Sometimes we hear messages coming through and it's not our time to hear them yet. So we are not ready for them, we cannot deal with them, or it's not our time to do anything with it. So then, just let it go. And if it's important for you in your life, it will get back to you somehow. This message or a message, similar message through someone else, if it's necessary for you to get what Chris was just saying, then you will feel it. The message, you will feel it. So trust in that, because that's something that I experiencing a little bit around me right now, and it has to do with the karmic situations that are getting released today in the world because of the eclipse. Is that people are so quickly to call themselves stupid. I'm a loser. I'm not good at it. I can't. And they are really talking themselves down, 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 down. And what for me, I did that too. For years, I did that. If I didn't understand something, oh, I must be dumb, or I'm not intelligent enough, and I'm highly intelligent, as a matter of fact. But I would make myself more stupid and feel more stupid than I was because I couldn't get it in that moment. And now seeing this happening around me, I tell those lovely people that you're not stupid. It's just or not your time to get it right now, and also the time to really be kind to yourself. We have to
Mm.
start, in my opinion at least, we have to start being more kind to
Mm.
ourselves. We're so judgmental about ourselves, we're so hard. And what helped me with that process, because I was really, really tough on myself always. And what helped me in that process was, if I'm confronted with something that makes my mind readily go like, oh, you're stupid, you don't get it, da, 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 I will pretend that I'm in a conversation with a dear friend of mine, that I'm sharing all my insecurities with her, and that she will say to me, oh no, that's nothing, or it's not that bad, you're good, or you're this, you're that. Because, and what I would myself say to other people, because when I pretend that those people come to me with that story, I'm always very kind, with love. And so I pretend to have that conversation with myself, to give me that love, to give me that kindness and acceptance. Like, okay, it's okay, there's nothing wrong with you, you're not stupid, and all those kinds of things. So that's how I not got rid of it, because it's still there in some way. Sometimes it still comes up with certain topics, but it's getting better and better and better. So another tip to experiment with, if you're one of those people that are telling themselves that they're stupid, or losers or whatever, try, well, no, not try, talk to yourself like you would to a friend that tells you that story, and then talk to yourself like that. So yeah, I wanted to go back to the anger part that I referred to in the beginning. Yeah, because of the whole hurricane stuff, they closed down everything at 7 o'clock Saturday night. So no Ubers, no transportation. All the restaurants were closed, all the shops were closed, just to be sure, that everybody was safely home. And I had well, it was not a fixed appointment, but Arturo and me, the guy that I'm seeing here, we had talked to each other like, okay, are you coming to my house in the evening because I don't want to be alone. If the power goes out or whatever, I would be lonely, and I don't want to be lonely. It was not because I was scared, but it was more like, I don't want to be lonely. And so he told me, yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm coming to you, blah, 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 blah. And then I didn't hear from him. And all old stuff came up. Why he doesn't want to be with me, and my mind was racing again. And I've been through this process multiple times, but every time there's this little change in it that I'm like, okay, what's happening here? And so I got really angry about him not informing me. I was like, that he doesn't come, I'm okay with that, because with the whole situation that's happening, he probably isn't even able to come to me, because yeah, then he had to go walk towards me. So I understood that, but there was this anger that I felt, and I was like, what's that about? So then I had the epiphany about, with a yellow energy field. If you're not informed, then it can be that you feel anger coming up, but also when things are out of balance. So I got this anger, and I was like, and he doesn't call me, and that's the least he could do. Blah 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 blah. And also being bombarded with fear and still other stuff around me, so amplified a lot, was that I at one point was so angry that I really wanted to like stamp on the floor and pick up the phone and just yell at him. And I was like, I'm gonna go blah, 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 blah. So what came up for me in that moment was that at one point I had a conversation with Monique about the anger, the manifestor anger, and that she said, it's okay, you are allowed to let it out. We are, of course, conditioned that anger is not a good thing. You don't verbalize anger, you're not coming out with anger, and blah 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 blah. So that gave me, in my mind at least, the permission to want to call him. I didn't do it, but I wanted to call him and just go at it. And you're like, blah, 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 blah. So I got called out of it because my source was like, you're not going to do that. And then I was like, why am I not going to do that? That's my right. I am a manifestor. I have the yellow energy field, and I'm allowed to be angry, and it's not good to bottle it up. So I need to let it out. And then they said in my head, that's why I hear the voices. They literally said to me, but it's not about him. And I was like, what? It is about him. He didn't call me, and he didn't do that, and he did it, blah, 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 blah. And then they said, no, it's not about him. You have to go inside and find out why you're angry. It has nothing to do with, it has a little bit to do with the informing, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. So go inside. And I was like, okay. So I sat down for a moment. I put on some nice relaxing music, and I went in. And then I was like, okay, help me, help me find the answers. Then what's happening here? And what came up for me was that I had some scare, or I was scary of something, and that was that I would be alone. And what if something happened? Then I needed to be rescuing myself, and I wanted to be rescued by someone else. And that being said, and rescue is maybe not the right way to put it, because what I longed for in my life was that there was someone taking care of me. So, but I never was. I always had to take care of myself. And now I'm learning, to trust the universe and my source and all that kind of good stuff. But for a long time, I did it all on my own. So that came up, and I was like, oh, okay, wait, that's interesting. But my mind was like, but. I still wasn't informed, and he could inform me. And then they said, yeah, but that's not what's going on here. You're feeling triggered because he's not there to take care of you. And you wanted him there. That was the real reason why you asked him to come. And now he isn't there, and now you're getting triggered because you're not taken care of again that's how I feel. So that took the anger right out of it, I can tell you, because I was like, oh, okay, so this is me. And then they said, yeah, and the anger showing up in this case, in this particular situation, was that you were not in balance. You were out of balance because you were giving your own self-power away to someone else, and you hope that that person comes back to help you and rescue you. And you have your answers, you have your power, you have everything in you, so you're not dependent on anyone in that regard. So you may heal this whole pattern of hoping that someone takes care of me, while I'm now in a place in my life that I know and I can feel that I can take care of myself. Do I like that people are nurturing around me? Yes, of course. I think every human being likes to be nurtured by some other human being, that they are thoughtful to you, that they are kind to you, that they hold you in their arms and whatever. So I think everybody needs that sense of, sometimes to feel that from another person. But now I found out that, okay, I am there for me, and I'm showing up for me, and that's the most important thing that I can do and choose to do. So that was a big, whole turning around from the anger.
Transformation.
Yeah. So what are you gonna learn from this? I don't know. You take out of it whatever you want, but this is my experience, and that was what I experienced. And my mind wanted to hang on to the anger and the right that I have to express my anger, and blah 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 blah. But in the end, it didn't have anything to do with it. Nothing at all. The anger was only there just to point out, hey, hello, wait a minute, there's an imbalance. And actually, you helped with that, Chris, because you can remember a couple of months ago I had the similar interaction, and that you pointed out, yeah, but your anger is there to point you to the imbalance that there is. So there was this reminding, because I forgot about it. And now my source connection, now they reminded me of it, like, wait, you're out of balance. That's the only thing your anger is telling you right now. So yeah, I thought I needed to share that. I felt that I needed to share that. So here it is.
Yeah, may I show you my feeling, my vision about this?
Yeah, of course.
It is. I feel like it was a transformation on your vision of taking care of yourself. I have the feeling that you had some kind of unhealthy vision, unhealthy. Yeah, you have some patterns and some unhealthy visions about taking care of yourself, being your own rescuer, and I think it's something. I have the feeling that it has to do something with your childhood, and it makes you a little bit like, yeah, feeling makes you feel like a child. Yeah, when you are a child, you are longing for an adult to give you shelter or to take care of you, so you can feel safe. I also can remember that one another time we were talking about you were having something with this guy with a scary face, and it was about safetyness, and it's all about feeling safe with yourself, within yourself. So if you are out of balance, and then you cannot be very trustful or trustworthy for yourself, of taking care of yourself. So if you are giving your power away because you want someone else to take care of you and to be the rescuer, uh, so then you are also out of balance. And I think the transformation is that you are feeling you are getting to the point of feeling that uh, you can be alone or feel alone. If you are alone, you can feel very full or very safe. But if you feel alone, you feel alone. So when do you feel alone? When you do not have healthy visions or healthy patterns of being your own driver of your bus and being your own safety person. Of course, it is completely different when in a moment like when there's a hurricane coming, and then of course it is very very nice, and it's a very big bonus if you are with someone else. Of course, it is completely different. But this is not the point. The point is that I have the feeling that you are in a transformation, like the last time with the guy with the scary face. I think it's the same transformation, but then on another level. It is the same. You have to come to a certain point when you have a different view about taking care of yourself. And when you have a different view of taking care of yourself, then then you can make the distinction that it is okay, and it's always okay if you are in a position that you have to take care of yourself. But if you are in a position that you have to take care of yourself, but with somebody else, then it's different. And especially it is very important that you make the distinction between you have you are in a space, and there are some unsafety things happening, like a hurricane. Then you are here. This is you, and this is the other one, but you are both grounded and you are next to each other. And you are both safe and having a safe feeling with yourself, and you are able to to take care of yourself. But still, it is a nice feeling. This is very healthy. If you are in an unsafety place, this is very nice. But if you are in an unsafety place, and I have a kind of feeling that you're unhealthy. What is unhealthy? If you are in an unsafety place, and t- and if you are like this together, then you are like, it's like a symbiosis. It is not, you are not yourself anymore. And this is a kind of a vision of being with someone, but it's an old vision. It's from the vision of, yeah, dualism. About it's when you are a part of each other, then you want to be like this, and then you are not apart from each other anymore. And this is not the vision you have in more awareness, because we are all one. So it doesn't matter if you like this, we are still one. And it is much more healthy to be like this, because then you are in balance. And then you do not have to have anger anymore. If you are having this, and I agree with it. I agree with the part of informing, because especially for a manifester, for the yellow energy field, it is very important to also, if you are not an if you are not a manifester energy field or the yellow energy field, you have to be aware that for you guys, if you are approaching a yellow energy field, you have to inform the people, because if you inform them, you are talking in their language. If he would inform you that he would not be able to reach you, in what way? But you have many ways, and you were talking about you guys are also informing each other just by spirits, so he could do that as well. If there are no possibilities for internet or whatever, he can still give you and send you messages. And you were talking about that with each other, so you know that from each other, so he can send inform you with sending the messages with his heart, with his mind.
Yeah, but he did. This was my. I wanted him to do it with the telephone,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
and he didn't do that. But he already told me that he was not coming because it was not possible. But that's why I say it's the
Well, you
mind
wanted
thing that
this.
goes
You
on.
want
Yeah,
this.
exactly. So, and what they call that, because there's a word for that actually, it's codependency.
Yeah.
So yeah. So first of all, thank you for the be alone and feeling alone. I like the how you did. So how you explained that was for me really clear. I never looked at it like that. So thank you for that. That was a new thing I learned, and it felt really like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And I love that how you explained it with because yeah, that was in the end. Now I'm through it. So yeah, I experienced that the latter one like that. I experienced it in hindsight, or not in hindsight, afterwards. That it is important to be on your own, and so I get all those things, and yes, he needs to inform me definitely, but it was about the anger that showed up and that I wanted to shout at him about it, because that
Yeah.
was not the way anyway to do it. You can have anger at some points, not
Mm.
exact for, and that you need to let it out. But this was more like almost like a vengeance, like he didn't inform me, I got angry, and now I'm gonna get at you. And that's never the way, because
This
I
is
can have a conversation with him, and then if it was really a thing, because it wasn't actually a thing, like I said, he already informed me, but I wanted him to do it in a different way. And I cannot, I'm not God. So I can never force someone to do it in my way. So there was a lot of things going through that, but when we narrow it down, yeah, if it was about him not informing me literally, then I would never be in my anger and like blah, 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 blah. No, I would have a conversation with him and tell him and explain him, if you inform me, then I'm at ease and in peace, and there's nothing going on, then I can stay in my energy, and you can stay in your energy, and everything is good. I would have a normal conversation with people about that. So that's why it was so interesting that all
yeah.
those pieces
But
came together.
it was a
Yeah,
trigger. It was something else.
it
It was a
was.
trigger
It
for transformation for your own
yes,
issue. Yeah.
yes. So yeah, that was one of my karmic lessons that I needed to learn and let go of, and accept that I'm taking care of
Yeah.
me. I am
It's
able to take care of me, and I love myself enough to take care of me. So yeah, it was a theme this
oh
weekend
yeah.
with some other friends too, or it's exactly
Me
the same.
too. Me
Yeah,
too. It's very it's it's very funny because I have the same issue here. It was Saturday as well, and because I also had a karmic issue and a trigger from my boyfriend. He was yeah, he has a gift of rejection, but but when you a gift of rejection is that you have certain fixed ways of feeling or thinking about certain topics, and you if something is not it's not a match with your fixed way of thinking or feeling, then you will be able to reject it, and you will do it, I can tell you. So anyway, but if you it is a beautiful gift, it is a beautiful gift when it is done by the heart. But when it's done by the head, it can be very painful. So this is what happened Saturday for me. He was rejecting something, and he was doing that from his head, from his pain, actually, not from he has his own issue, and from he's coming from a feeling of scarcity, you know. If you but everything there is abundance, but the heart knows abundance, but the head knows scarcity. So if he was kind of feeling like he wanted his freedom, and he felt scarcity of freedom at that moment, and then from that point he started to reject things, and that hurt me because I am I am a person. My language of doing my purpose is by bonding, and I want bonding. And we were with friends, and I was looking forward of being with the four of us in a city of the Netherlands. It's called Alkmaar, and because we were doing all the time, we were doing separate, we were doing things. So this time we wanted to do something, the four of us, and he started to reject that, and he was having different thoughts, and he was like, "Ah, I'm going, and if it's not happening, I will go alone." So anyway, it's not going to happen that we are going to be four of us. And that for me was the trigger, because it triggers my oneness, or my feeling of bonding. But also, what is my own transformation is that I am I'm not very I have to learn, and I'm learning more and more to be angry as well. This and here comes the anger again. Most of yeah, when I was in the past, I became quiet, and I kept it for myself, and I felt sad. But now it's the time to be, I think, to experience angriness, anger, whatever. Anyway, I started to become angry, and it was, and I always kind of watch myself in my life. I'm an observer, so I observed myself being angry, and I can tell you guys, I was angry for a long time. It happens, I think, it happens around the clock of, I think, what I don't know, but it will be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and 6:30 in the evening. I was still angry, so it was funny, and I kind of thought it was funny because I was seeing myself being angry, and I was like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr, rrr," and I was walking very fast, and my friend, she tried to walk with me, and I am very small, and she is much taller than I am. So her steps are much bigger than mine. So I was like, tick, 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 and she was trying. Oh God, Chris, stop, please stop. I try to walk with you, and then sorry, but you have to know I'm angry, and I use my anger for power. So I'm walking like, and it was actually this very funny if I if I think about it. And we were talking about it, and I talked with my boyfriend about it, and everything, of course, is fine. And he will be, he told me I will be. What's meant for you will never pass you by. Yeah, of course. Yes, Frida, you are completely right. Yeah, and it's beautiful because I love this. I love that it happened because I really loved watching myself being angry, and maybe you too. Anyway, and the anger is itself, especially when you use it in a good way, like walking fast, so you get rid of the anger. Then it's nothing else could happen. And I'm not a person anymore that makes a fight or whatever. I keep it to myself. And even when I was talking to my boyfriend, where I kept it with myself. I was only talking what it was for me and how I see it. So you don't you are talking from the heart, so you reach him in his heart. So the issue will not explode anymore. So we were having a very beautiful um, experience, and he I was also a trigger for him, of course. And he is going to I will watch it, and I will say like, okay, I'm sorry, I know I see the time, I have to shut up. Anyway. Sorry guys.
We're still in the subject, so do your thing. You know, if you find it
Yeah.
interesting, then watch. Yeah, you know.
Anyway, yeah, but it's for both of us. It is a very good a very good thing, because for me the lesson is go to your feeling and don't be afraid to be angry, and
Yeah.
show your anger and let it out, because normal don't and let it out on a safe way. Yeah, on a safe way, like walking fast or shouting in the air or whatever. But keep keep your mind away from this. Just be try to stay in your heart and show your anger. Oh, I showed my anger to him. Oh yeah, I was like, I don't want to see you right now. I don't want to be with you right now. Go away, go away. So I told him, and I was very strict at that moment as well. I said, you. I told my boyfriend, you are going with Peter. I go with my friend. I'm not going with you. So I like go. So it was so funny.
Yeah, but you make a good point there, and I think that's a good one to wrap it up with. Is that anger is just an emotion that
Mm.
comes along, and as long as we can stay with the anger and see it for what it is, it's just an emotion, and that we allow it to let it out in what way or form. And I'm not telling let your anger out by cursing and shouting at someone with like intent. So what I mean by that is if you start to use curse words to someone, or just go and tear their heads off in that moment. What you said is like you make your boundaries perfectly clear in that moment. I am angry, and because of that anger, I cannot be with you right now. So it's clear. It's very clear. And you give yourself space, and you give him the space just to be on your own for a while and just let it go out. Like, and for you it's walking, and you can jump, or you can do scream, or whatever you mentioned, and all other stuff. But for me, the distinction is really big, that it's okay to be angry. It's okay to let the anger out, and it's even very good for you to let the anger, the physical anger, in the energetical anger, let it out of your system. Because every time you hold on, it will grab on to something in your body, and you will eventually get sick or hurt or whatever. But with expressing your anger, for me, it doesn't mean that it gives you the right to just tear someone down or just,
No.
and that's what's happening right now with a lot of people. When they get
Yeah.
angry, they just start,
Yeah,
and
but
they
then
throw it
you,
all over you, and you're like, whoa, what the hell is happening here? And that's not what anger is about. It
that's
isn't.
anger from the head. You have the
Exactly.
emotion anger. I have the feeling. You have the emotion anger, but you also have the feeling anger.
Moment, sorry. My phone is ringing.
Okay. Anyway, it's time to wrap up. Yeah, I have the feeling, but I'm not sure if I'm right. But it for me it's very important to make a distinction between a feeling or an emotion. For me, emotions are from the head, and the feelings are from the heart. And I have the feeling that your heart can also be angry, because it is actually, it's not saying I'm angry, it is saying I'm hurt. It feels pain. I felt at that moment, I felt pain. It hurts me, because of the way the way he was rejecting, and the way he was telling uh his the way he was informing. I knew, instantly knew, and also from my spleen I knew that it would also be more or less hurting for the others. And that hurt me, because I'm also a guy. I'm also a person about harmony. I like it to be in balance, and I don't want. Yeah, like I said, he made at that point he made his rejection by his head. And when you are making contact from your head, you make contact to the head of somebody else, and then conflicts will arise. And if you are telling, if he was telling us, if he was rejecting from his heart, then he would have made contact with my heart, and then I would react from a completely different place. I would react, and then I didn't actually, I didn't feel, I don't think that I would feel the pain I felt from that moment, on that moment. So I'm not sure. It is a very complex item anyway, but it's very fun experimenting, and especially when you are getting able to be an observer about from yourself, like observing yourself being angry, or observing yourself being happy, observing yourself being in some kind of way. You can, yeah, you can see the fun, and yeah, you can how do you say that in English? You can, yeah, you can stay, you can, yeah, it doesn't really matter at that point. There is
Yeah,
this again.
sorry.
It's
I
really,
don't know what it is with this energy. The last time he called exactly at the same time as now. So I'm like, are you
oh,
working?
okay, great.
But because he doesn't have a phone right now, I need to pick up the phone, because otherwise he's gone, and then I don't know how to connect with
Yeah,
him
yeah,
again.
yeah, I understand, no problem. Anyway, but it's time anyway. I was
Yeah.
telling, You can listen later what I was telling. This time I'm not as tired as last time. Last time I was feeling like I want to be quiet, and I was quiet when you were away. And this time I was talking.
Oh, great. Did you finish up already or not?
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
Okay. No, I mean, did you close off the show?
No, no.
Okay.
I don't have the talent for that. This is your
Uh,
talent. You are the informer, so you can inform the people that it's done.
okay, I will then. So, for everybody still listening up until now, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Frida, for your comments.
Thank you,
And
Frida.
for, yeah, that's nice. It's so nice to have some interaction on the show, or on the talk. I should say talk, not show. So if you like us, just hit the thumbs up. It's always good for us that we see that you like it. If you have any questions, comments, or whatsoever, leave them behind. We will get back to him as you listen or heard in the beginning. If we get questions from people around us, we are also able to talk about it here. So if you want to share, subscribe, or whatever, please do. It's always nice to know that we are supported by other people. And yeah, next week we are back at 1 PST, I think it is, and it's 8 o'clock Amsterdam time. But you can see it. I already planned out the new lives that are coming in the oncoming month. So you can see, I believe that YouTube just does the whole calculation for your time zone to see when it is live. Of course, you can always come back later. And we have a lot of other videos that are very interesting too, if you want to look at them. And yeah, if you have any questions, let us know. And as you can see down here, you can always go to the website to get more information about your inner authority, about the yellow and red and all the colors of the energy field. There's a lot of free information to be found there. There's also information about the purpose paper. So feel free to go ahead and explore the site. Let us know what you think about it. And we will see you hopefully next week. Bye-bye. Thank you, Chris.
Bye. Thank you.